Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today, I want to talk about something that many of you ask all the time. I get this question all over social media, here on YouTube, on TikTok. Every time I do a reading or a post, I get this question all the time. And this question is how to activate your powers. So every time I do a reading, and the reading has to do with activating someone's powers, the question that I get right away is how do I activate these powers? Before I elaborate and explain what's the meaning of activating powers in the occult as a practitioner, I want to remind you that I have a book called How to Embrace Your Darkness, a book that helps you activate your darkness, understand what darkness is all about. Link in the description box below. I also offer a lot of personal readings, sigils, customized sigils, all links in the box below, sciofalchemist.com. My website has a lot of stuff. Go check it out. So let's talk about activating your powers. The $1 million question. Why is everyone obsessed with knowing this, or obsessed with knowing how to do it? And it's kind of interesting because when I do my readings or when I make videos for you guys, I feel like I address it all the time, but I think it is the second most asked question, or almost it is the same as much as how to embrace your darkness. The other question that I get is how to activate my power. So it's either or. It's either how to embrace my darkness or how do I activate my powers. These are the most asked questions. So when we talk about powers, I'm not sure what people understand by that. When I say powers, I mean gifts. I mean these things that you're born with, these abilities that you're born with, and that they're hidden. They're hidden because you don't use them, because you're not in touch with them, because when you were young, they were basically shut down because of your parents, because of your family, because of your environment. These abilities, these powers were turned off and you lost them and you don't know how to activate them anymore. What do these powers allow you to do? I'm not here to talk about superhero powers. They could be superhero powers per se, but that's a very advanced level of existence where you get to have these superhero movie powers. That's also possible. But the initial stage, that's what I'm going to address here about these powers. These are the powers of basically knowing how to ride your own flow, knowing how to become aligned, knowing how to align with the right people, knowing how to make the right decisions. Prudence it is. Prudence, knowing how to make the right choice at the right time. When that choice is presented to you, knowing how to navigate in life. These are powers. Some of you may call them experience, but some people, even though we have an experience, they are not using their powers. I'm going to give you an example. Someone who's very experienced and they know what to do in life because they have a lot of experience, they will be given a choice. And that choice, they will make it based off their experience. And still, they will fail. They will not succeed. Even though they thought, well, based on my experience, I thought this thing is not going to work. This business is not going to work. This venture is not going to work. So I shouldn't invest in it. I shouldn't do it. And then they don't do it. And then they realize that the next person who did it become the most successful person in the world, or one of the most successful people in the world. So this has nothing to do with experience. It has to do with following your gut feeling, following your intuition. And it's very interesting how, because I study a lot of human beings, I study a lot of people who are successful. I don't study the scum of society. I don't study the low vibrational people. I study the successful people. And I'm always trying to figure out what's going on. Or do these people follow their intuition? Because at least publicly, these successful people publicly, they don't show this esoteric occult side of them. Maybe they have it, maybe they completely don't have it, but they don't show it. So I try to figure out if there is something there. And in some interviews, for example, with I remember this both of these billionaires of the world, I think most of you have heard their names. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, and Elon Musk, the owner of many companies and the Tesla and all of that. They mentioned in some of their interviews that I came across before, they mentioned that most of their decisions, believe it or not, most of their decisions, and we're talking about billionaires, we're talking about guys who have accomplished crazy success. One of them wants to go to the planet Mars to live there. These are people who know what they're talking about to a certain extent. To a certain extent, I'm not saying that they know exactly what they're talking about, but to a certain extent, they figured things out because they made billions of dollars. In this lifetime, if you're able to make billions of dollars, it means you have more or less things figured out. You kind of figured out something. So these people figured out something. They said that these two big CEOs or owners, they said that most of their decisions, and I heard this in separate interviews with them. They were not together already. It was separate interviews, separate times. And I connected the dots and I'm like, wow, that's very interesting. They said that they make most of their decisions based on their intuition. Both of them. They make the decision on to pursue or not to pursue, not because of experience, it's because of what they feel like. And those are the billionaires of the world. Not millionaires, billionaires. So you see what I'm getting here. Those are some of the powers that I'm talking about, because it starts there. It starts very small. It starts very minimal. Activating your power means that you can live throughout a pandemic and not be affected by the pandemic. It means that you can make millions of dollars. It means that you can make a lot of money, even though everyone else is complaining that the pandemic is destroying their lives. Now, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Not necessarily, because sure, maybe, and again here, this pandemic is just an example. This pandemic is destroying people's lives, for sure, I'm not denying that. But if you had your powers activated, your gifts, what you're given, that intuition, that sensation, you know where to go, you know what to do, you know what to do at the right time so you don't make a mistake. If you have that activated in you, you can survive through any pandemic. You can survive through any earthquake, through anything that happens. You can survive. That's why, irony it seems, but these billionaires that I was just mentioning earlier, they made more money during the pandemic. More money. And I'm talking in terms of success, because success is correlated with money. Wanted or not, the correlation is there in this physical reality. That's how it works. If you think that's not how it works, then you're probably living on a different dimension and you're probably struggling a lot, because it's correlated. Success, abundance, money, it's all correlated. It's all interconnected. So these gifts, it starts there. It starts with knowing what to do at the right time, knowing how to knowing how to navigate your emotions. And this goes back to the Hermetic principles that I talked about before. I have a live, I think it's a 3-hour live about the Hermetic principles that explain them perfectly. Those Hermetic principles, which is basically also Hermeticism, they help you activate these powers if you understand these Hermetic principles. So knowing how to live, knowing that as above, so below, knowing that as within, so without, knowing how to follow your intuition, knowing how to follow the flow of your body. You might wake up one day and you feel that your energy is very low. Then you know that day you should not do much. You know that day, if you go and do something which you are not supposed to do in the day where your energy is low, you're gonna mess things up. You're gonna cause a fatal mistake or do something that's just not good for your growth or for who you are. And being aware of these things, and also on the opposite hand, when you feel good and you have good energy, you go and you dash, you get things done, you do everything at the same time, you conquer, you do different projects, you work on different things. So it works like this. You follow the flow of the universe. You ride the flow of your energy. Is it high today? Is it low today? The principle of rhythm, another Hermetic principle. Is it high? Is it low? If it's high, I'm gonna go with it high. If it's low, I'm gonna also lower my intensity of work. Versus what most people would probably tell you all the time is that you have to always just work, and just keep going at it. Yes, you have to be consistent, but you have to also know how to read yourself. That's why every time I say you don't know who you are, in many of my readings with my clients or with you guys, you don't know who you are, you don't know how to embrace your darkness or how to activate your powers. It's because a lot of people are lost. Most people are lost. They don't know how to understand these things. So how do you get there? How do you get there? How do you activate these? They're very subtle. These abilities. This is very interesting because it's connected to alchemy. They're subtle. These abilities are subtle. They're volatile, and volatility, or what's volatile in alchemy, is the spiritus. It's the spirit part of the metal or of ourselves. The spirit part, it's the volatile, it's the subtle, it's the thing that we can see. It's the spirit realm. And that's why people who have their gifts awakened can see the spirit realm, because that subtlety that you have in you, that those subtle signs are awakened. They're right there. They're very, you can feel them. That's why a lot of people who can see spirits with clairsentience, can sense spirits, who can see them and sense them. And many times, and many of you, the gifted ones, because many of you are gifted, you guys would in many cases say, I sense a presence in this room. I feel like there's something here, right? It's subtle. It's very subtle. In alchemy, that's the spirit part. And if you don't have that spirit part, then you don't know who you are. Then you're lost. You're lost. It's knowing these subtle signs and these feelings that it's the start. It's actually just the start of the initiation. That's the start. Because the more you work on that, the more you work on activating these feelings, these intuitions, knowing what to do at the right time, knowing what kind of choice to do at the right time, knowing what kind of people to say yes to and what kind of people to say no to. Knowing, the more you do of that in your daily life, the more like other doors will open and things become more crazy. You start encountering spirits, encountering demons, encountering other living beings. They start to communicate with you. Tarot becomes like a second nature to you. It becomes something like you can read so easily. You can channel messages. You can you become a badass practitioner, because what do you think practitioners are? That's what they do. They channel the spirit realm, and in order to channel the spirit realm, they weren't just born with it like that. There had to be a certain practice and kind of opening up to these signs, to these subtleties that you can't see with your two eyes, that you have to see with your third eye, or sense, right, around your vibrational energy that's around you. You can sense, you can project your energy, and if your energy field senses something within it, then you feel it and you know it's there. Myself, that's how I act in my daily life. That's how I do in my daily life. I go with not much planning. I have a certain plan. It's very general. It's very holistic, but the details don't matter. If I'm supposed to finish my work at this place today and I go, and that place is clearly, let's say, it's not opened, it's closed, or it's packed, or there's someone rude there, or it doesn't smell good, I am not gonna force it. I'm not gonna go against the flow. I'm gonna say, all right, it means I'm not supposed to work here today. And then I go to the other place that I'm guided to, where I'm supposed to work. And when I go there, I get better inspiration, more amazing work done. And that's how I do all of my work. And that's how my first book, How to Embrace Your Darkness, even came to be, even came to life. It came to life like that. I never I was talking about this with Ina Witch, how I never planned to write a book, How to Embrace Your Darkness. I never planned it. It just happened. It just happened organically. And those are the powers I'm talking about. A lot of people misunderstand. They think you're gonna get a pill, like in the movie The Matrix, the recent one. It has that pill as well. Everyone thinks, where is the red pill? I'm gonna eat it and then everything is gonna be, that's it. I'm gonna have that red pill and I'm gonna start to see the spirit realm. Good luck with that. It's never gonna happen that way. It's never gonna happen that way, and it will not happen that way. So activating these powers is a hard task. It's a journey. That's what I call in tarot the journey, the alchemical journey, or the journey of the fool, because at first you start with the fool card in tarot, the alchemical journey of transformation. You go from the fool to the magician, to the magus of power. Again, I just want to mention this because many people might not still understand, because you might still wonder, even after what I said, you might still wonder, well, but how? But here's the thing. The how is hard. And I kind of many times refrain from saying it because not everyone is ready to hear this. Because a lot of people are just, they just might feel, jaded, and, especially if you have a lot going on in your life and you're going to be like, no, but I don't. But I want this message, and I'm really, really intending, and I'm asking all the spirits that are here to really give this video and this message just to the people who are willing to hear what I have to say right now, not to the fools. I don't want this video to be seen by the fools, by the stupid people. I don't want that. I want it to go to the people who are aware, who are ready for this information. To activate these spirits, the first thing you have to do is to work on your physical body. If there is anyone in the world who's gonna tell you there's a different way, I don't believe them, I don't agree with them, and I think it's BS. But that's just what I think and what I believe. You're okay. You're free. Of course, you have your own free will. You're free to believe what you want to believe. But for me, that's what it takes. You have to first take care and cleanse your physical body. What do I mean by that? I mean by that eating healthy, exercising, working out, connecting to nature, walking, enough of the driving and you're always on four wheels. You have to start walking, dancing. It could be music. It could be anything that makes you feel like you're alive physically. And that's why I just turned off one candle here before it burns the other candle. There's just many candles here, and I don't want some fire to happen, especially with this plant around here, this nice plant. I don't want some fire. Me and the fire elements are always, like I don't know why every time I do rituals and I play with fire, fire wants to take over. It's always like this. But anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about. So anything that will make you feel alive in the physical reality, and that's why I don't recommend meditation, because meditation, I recommend active meditation, not sitting down and doing nothing. And then that's it. And then you think you're gonna awaken like that. You're not gonna awaken like that. You have to feel alive first. That's the first thing. Number two, and here I'm just throwing these out there for you guys, generally speaking. I'm not gonna go into the details. You do your own research. You're supposed to be the masters. I'm just here to guide. You guys are supposed to do your homework properly. You're supposed to do your research, your readings, whatever it is that's meant for you. So number two, you have to eat healthy. You have to eat healthy, and by healthy, I mean really healthy. You have to cut meat. If you eat meat, you have to cut it. If you can't cut it, cut down on it. Considerably cut down on the quantities of meat that you eat, because heavy foods, meat, consuming another flesh where it's gonna keep you stuck in the physical reality. That's it. The more flesh you consume, the more you're gonna be stuck here. You're not gonna be able to see any spirit. You're not gonna be able to read the signs. You're not gonna be able. And some of you here are gonna be like, no, I eat meat and I can hear my spirit guides. Really? So what do you do for a living? You hear your spirit guides? What do you do for a living? Do people? Are you a practitioner? Of what sort? Are you successful in your life? Do you have huge amounts of money coming to you doing what you love? I already sense that most of you are like, no. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because the energy that you exert out there is the energy of, well, I don't take care of my body. Why do you think someone was gonna want to pay you money if you're not taking care of your body? Why? Think about it. Just think about it. So, eating meat, cutting down on meat, and I'm not even mentioning other things. A plant-based diet is the key. And I'm not here to lecture you on what you need to eat, but I'm here to tell you that that's what needs to be done. But it's your free will. You can eat whatever the heck you want. You can go and buy a whole cow and feast on it every single day, every single meal. You can go do that. But if you're wanting to activate your powers, which is the most asked questions that I'm getting recently, then you're gonna have to cut down on meat and eventually cut meat and eventually cut dairy products and eventually cut animal products. And when I say meat, I don't mean just beef. I mean any type of meat. Because meat, some people, just from a linguistic perspective, for people, I don't know if English is your first language or if you understand, meat can be any animal. You can have the meat of a cow, the meat of a sheep, the meat of a lamb, the meat of a fish, the meat of any meat. Because a lot of people think of meat as beef. A lot of people misunderstand meat as beef. Meat can be chicken as well, any living animal, any flesh. So you can't consume flesh anymore. You have to load on veggies, on greens. And by greens, I don't mean lettuce. Lettuce it's kind of empty. Sure, it's good for you, but I mean greens, like greens that are full of nutrients. And again, I'm not here to give you a lesson about or a lecture about what are greens, and that's your research. Do your own research. Fruits, you have to load on fruits. Those are natural sugars. They're full of nutrients. They're full of vitamins, and you cannot go around package crap, supermarket crap package stuff anymore. You just can't. You just can't. Milk, no. Cereal, no. Like these kind of what's packed, because I haven't been to the food section in a grocery store, in a supermarket. I don't know how long I haven't been. Anything that's packaged, and if it's packaged, just read what's in it. For example, if you're gonna get what's an example? If you're gonna get peanut butter, make sure there's nothing in there. Make sure that the ingredient says peanut butter. That's it. It can't have sugar, artificial sugar in it. It can't have oils in it. It can't have salt in it. Most of the packaged stuff out there is loaded with artificial sugar, with oil, with salts, with like some toxic chemicals that you read their names and you can't even read the names. That's how toxic these chemicals are, but yet they're in the food you eat. And then you might just be having crackers. I have a homework for you. Go to the crackers you're having, because I picked crackers because it's probably the most the most futile, like tiny thing that you guys probably don't think it hurts. Go to your crackers, go to the package of your crackers right now that you have at home. I'm sure you have some crackers at home. So, some whatever they are, crackers or cookies or whatever. Go to the box and read in the ingredients and read at the bottom what's there. Because in the ingredients, usually it's inside a square, right? Or inside like a rectangle. Don't read at the top. At the top, you're going to see the nice ingredients. They're like, oh, we have here this and this and this. I want you to start reading these words that you can't even pronounce. These really complicated words that are basically chemicals. And that's what this stuff is full of. And you're feeding yourself that every day. Chips. What do you think chips are made of? Go read the ingredients of the chips that you eat. Crisps, the chips, the potatoes, which are not even potatoes. And even the ones that are potatoes, they're drenched and dried in oil and salt and sugar. And you have people coming to me and saying that they want to activate their powers. Like, diet is very necessary. It's a necessary thing. And again, I'm really praying to the spirits here that this video goes to only to the ones who are willing and ready to hear this information. I don't want any stupid person to hear this, because I don't want to even talk or argue about with any stupid person who's not going to understand this. I don't have time or energy for that. I just don't, because they're here and I'm here, and I don't have time to go down. I don't have time. For me, I'm just going up. That's it. So that's the bitter truth that that no one wants to hear. So you have to really eat very clean, plant-based diet, close to raw vegan, fruitarian, raw vegan, plant-based. And if you find it hard, of course you have to do it gradually, because do it just cold turkey overnight, it's impossible. It's impossible. So do it gradually. Start first and foremost, start by cutting all of the meats. Start by cutting them gradually, and then move on to the packaged stuff that has all of these chemicals, and then move on to the artificial sugary stuff, and then move on to the salts, and then move on to the oils, and then you gradually cutting, combine everything I said, combined with exercise, walking, doing any sort of activities that move your body, jumping, running, walking, working out. Is it hitting the gym that you like? Go hit the gym. Is it playing tennis? Go play tennis. I don't know what it is for you, but you have to feel that you're alive, physically speaking. And you have to do what I mentioned on, are you ready to hear it? Daily basis, every single day. Daily basis. That's how you become the real deal. That's how you become an oracle. That's how you can actually divine the future easily and without any effort. Because you're so opened, you're able to hear everything. And number 3, and all mastery things come in 3. Like Hermes Trismegistus, that's number 3. He's Tris. Tris is 3 in ancient Greek. That's why he's called Trismegistus. He's 3 times the master, because 3 is the number of mastery. And number 3, last but not least, and again, I can talk about this for hours, for days actually, but I'm trying to sum it up here in one video. And number 3, you have to cut every toxic behavior you are doing to your life and to your body. So number 1, I'm going to recapitulate just for you to like a little review. So number 1, you have to move your body. You have to move, exercise, workouts. You have to physically feel that you're active and alive on a daily basis. Number 2, the diet. You have to cleanse your diet. You have to eat as clean as possible. You have to cut all the meats. You switch your diet. It has to become almost plant-based. It has to become plant-based, almost raw vegan, almost fruitarian. It has to become very clean. I know most of you can't do this. Like, I don't know why I'm even saying it, but it's okay. This is the one thing that most humans just cannot do. It's the food part. And number 3, last but not least, the toxic addictions and behaviors. And what do I mean by that? Drugs, weed, cigarettes, alcohol. Like you guys, like I'm already envisioning you, the viewers who are seeing this. And these are, by the way, you who are ready to hear this, because I'm intending this only for the ones who are ready to hear it. I'm envisioning you. I'm like having this vision that you guys are like this. I can't have wine anymore? No, you can't. But what about, it's just a glass? No. But what about my weed? I just smoke twice a week. No, nothing. It has to go. It has to go to the trash. All of it. Alcohol, any type of alcohol. It's destructive to the human body. Period. Period. You want to become the magus of power? Then it's time to cut it. Cigarettes, weed, drugs. I don't know, what kind of drugs are you doing? What is it? What is it? Are you addicted to weed? Are you addicted to cigarettes? Are you addicted to coke, to cocaine? What is it? Do you pop mollies? Do you do acid? Do you do like LCD? What is it? What LSD? What is it? What is everything? Psychedelics like mushrooms, all of these, all of the psychedelics, all of them, everything has to go in the trash. Yes, and alcohol. Yes, but wine, the doctor says it's good for. Really, the doctors say wine is good for you. So when you get drunk, how do you behave? Can you do a reading when you're drunk? Why do you think people like to get readings from me or from Inawich? Why do you think that? Because we don't touch these things that I just mentioned right now. We don't touch them. We don't. I even forgot what alcohol tastes like. I used to have it before my transformation, when I was asleep, when I didn't know these things. But these are destructive things. They destroy your body over time. They might not hurt you today or tomorrow or next week, but they're gonna hurt you in the long run. When you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, they're gonna hurt you hard. And you might have a disease that you can't get out of anymore. So might as well to do it now than late. It's better now than you know. I'm saying this. I know it's hard to even process what I'm saying right now, but when you do these three things, and these are just the first things of initiation. I understand, like something I never shared with you guys. You know why initiation is so hard in ancient Egypt and ancient Greece and Mesopotamia, and the priests and the priestesses that were there, they were only the badass ones. Guys, you know how hard it is to be initiated? I'm not talking about doing rituals and saying little bits of spells here and there, and you're like, I'm initiated. Talking about the real deal. You know how hard it is to be initiated as the real deal? You probably have no idea. Because what I mentioned in this video is just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So go do it, go try to do it, and once you're done, and if you succeed in doing it, let's talk more. And that's what I have to say. And that's how you activate your powers, believe it or not. And everything else that I'm doing, the readings that I'm doing, the rituals, the sigils, the tarot, the divination, the knowledge that I know that I share with you guys, that's an outcome. That's a result of the three things that I just mentioned right now. And that's how you activate your powers. And that's why I really don't like to talk about this, because very, 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 very few people are ready to hear this. Very few people. And that's why not everyone was able to be initiated in the past in ancient Egypt. That's why you had to fast 40 days. Because fasting is a cleanse. When you fast 40 days, you cleanse your body from everything I just mentioned. And you're like squeaky clean. You start from scratch. It's kind of a hardcore way of doing it. But I know I myself have never fasted for 40 days. It's such a hard thing to do. On water, of course, I'm saying fasting 4 days on water. I think it's also feasible on juice. Doing a 40-day juice fast, that's also possible. But when you do so over a long period of time, and when you succeed in doing what I just mentioned, then you start actually tapping into your powers. And it does feel supernatural. It does feel very, very supernatural. All right, guys. So I hope this helped. I hope it makes sense to you. Again, selfalchemist.com, link in the description box below. I offer a lot of personal readings. My book, How to Embrace Your Darkness, is there. There's sigils there as well. I offer other things there. Just go check it out. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Ooh, Six of Swords is the last card here. The message says earn success. That means that these cards that I pick are always there, and they're just never wrong. Every time I talk about a subject and I pick a card at the end, it's always coherent. It is saying, basically this card is saying that what you want to become the master, you have to earn it. And how do you earn it? By working on it and working hard on it. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie and tell you it's easy, because it's not. That's the message. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.